people welfare measures, pensions. Here locally, a lot of people say that money has not come from the central government. I want to say very clearly, and I appreciate the media is here, but I hope they're listening. I can't see light in any of your things. You've switched off your cameras. Switch off, are you? On, please switch it on. I want to say this to you. Please switch on your cameras and record this. Are you? Record Arda? Switch on Maniko. I can't see your red lights. No escaping on this. You should record it. Central government gives money to all state governments and in time. National Social Assistance Program, which covers all these senior citizen pensions, amounting to 602.14 crores, have already been released in October 2023. First request vandadukku October kulla naanga release panniyaachu. Second request unnu varala. So enga pending ah irukku? Where is it pending? There's nothing pending on pensions. Seventh UGC pay revision. And the pay commission oda recommendation implement panna adulend varakudiya burden adula 50% central government kodukanum. Nee implement pannirundena Kerala government sent the proposal which had a lot of unanswered questions. So they were asked to correct all that and send back by 31/3/2022. Finance Ministry, Government of India told to Kerala government to furnish a complete proposal. The complete proposal was not received before 31/3/2022, and it may not be possible now to release that central share because you have not even sent me the papers. Then to claim, array Central Pay Commission மூலமா வர வேண்டியது எங்களுக்கு வரல, central government is stopping it. அரே application நீ சரியா கொடுக்கலன்னா உனக்கு எப்படி வரும்? Application உன்னோடதுல 1000 question answer பண்ணாம இருந்தா அதுக்கு எப்படி நாங்க கொடுக்கிறது? அந்த 1000 question இதுன்னு சொல்லி நீ கரெக்டா எங்களுக்கு ஃபுல்லா அனுப்பு 31/3/2022 குள்ளன்னு சொன்னா அனுப்பலன்னா எப்படி கொடுக்கிறது பணம்? Special assistance to capital investment. We give this for all states. 50-year loan interest illama neenga building kattungo, assets build up pannungo, road pannunga, port pannunga, buses udungo, kudukurom panam. Parliament approved schemes with a certain brand image cannot be changed to be Kerala so and so project, Kerala so and so, when the money is coming from the center. You rebrand it. So we said don't rebrand. It has been approved by the parliament. Follow the name given. PM Ujjwala is the name given. You don't change that. No, you want to give some name of your own party, red flag, green flag, yellow flag, blue flag. It doesn't work that way. What the parliament has approved, you have to follow that. Then you get the money. You have not followed it. We have told you to follow it. You don't get the money. The remaining balance of 137 crores for health sector grant will be received or will be released upon the fulfillment of the stipulated conditions. The state government of Kerala has not so far fulfilled the 15th Finance Commission recommendations on this to avail this grant. You have not fulfilled the condition not given by this government. It is given by the Finance Commission. You don't fulfill that, but you want us to give the money? We'll be pulled up by the CAG, not you. Kerala state government has requested the government of India, not to release GST compensation cess until the revenue numbers are reworked by them with the AG. You don't get your numbers right with your own AG, and that certificate doesn't reach me. How will I release that money? Finance Commission grants which are released to the state government of Kerala, highest amount of grants has been released under Prime Minister Modi. Please media, tell me where the amount is. What kind of amount is coming to Kerala? It is their right of the people of Kerala to get it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm giving it. We are clearly saying what has to go to the people of Kerala is being sent in time without delay.
Good evening to all the invited guests marking this 113th anniversary of Kerala Comedy, dignitaries on the dais, the eminent citizens of Thiruvananthapuram. It gives me certainly a lot of pleasure to be here. It's not very often you come across media houses which are over 100 years old and which keep their Kerala Kaumudi is definitely one of those very few organizations which has stood the test of time and has retained its audience and their goodwill. So I take this opportunity to appreciate the service that Kerala Kaumudi is doing in an India which is certainly emerging. And I was certainly going to say, as a part of my observation about what exactly is emerging Bharat requiring to be where it has to be. So I'm not looking at this topic as purely the economic performance, wherein we have seen the pangs of a growing out of colonial rule economy. Not just India, there are several countries which came out around the same period from its colonial history, and they've all set for themselves their own path to lead their country forward. All of us equally have faced immense challenges, and in that India has seen models of growth which probably was right at that point in time when people chose to take that route. But today we also see the need and also have the courage of conviction to change from it. And when you do so, certainly there are going to be frictions, there are going to be conversations which are going to be up and down, there are going to be conversations which can get vitiated. So this is going to be the process of transformation. Not just transforming into a 21st century which is so rich with its technology and also the way in which people have adapted to it. Because I would certainly look at the figures and say, if globally there is about 60-62% technology adaptation readiness, India's technology adaptation readiness is 80 and above. So that itself tells you it is not the perception which is seen about India outside, which is playing out in India. The perception you get outside, partly probably right, is because India still got miles to go before your population is going to be covered with basic amenities, literacy levels and so on. And therefore they think adaptation of technology is going to be only influenced by those factors. But when technology itself adapts to deal with people in their mother tongue, in simple language, and make it user-friendly by a kind of a driven system of you lead the technology in the instrument that you hold, the adaptation level gets going forward without even waiting for people to be all 100% literate and then teach them. In the process, they also see the value of literacy. So, using technology the way it should be for the sake of the common people and scaling it up so that everybody gets access to it has actually been a game changer for India. Game changer definitely, which has brought in inclusion, which has given access to credit, which has actually given access to many other, like during the COVID vaccination time. You knew the hospital where you had to go, you knew the vaccine you had to take, you also knew the vaccine which naturally for the second dose had to be the same as earlier one, although there were conversations about you could mix and match. But that person didn't have to worry about it all. It was fed into his phone and he knew when he had to go where and so on. So technology for us has been an immense game changer, And in a way, that which decades of intention, irrespective of the parties, decades of intention couldn't succeed, technology has helped us to succeed. So recognizing that, we have a role to see how emerging India has to benefit from this technology and the readiness to adapt this technology, equally making sure that this technology also is going to give us the advantage in terms of identifying where our opportunities lie. I heard MOS Muralidharan talk about how skilling and grade upskilling and so on will help Kerala. But I would start with, yes, it will help India, but more particularly, I think it will help Kerala because you've repeatedly kept yourself abreast of what happens in technology, in skilling, although you had to go elsewhere to show your talents and utilize them, less within Kerala and more outside of it. So it is important, therefore, to continue that tradition of being inclined to have a knowledge base which actually helps Kerala in every field, whether it is medical today or where nurses, I heard the requirement of set up a nursing college here. Today, the point is, technology is into every walk of our life. And therefore, the opportunities which I think Kerala can carve out for itself is very important. I'm only going to flag a few which I think are opportunities waiting for Kerala to tap. All of which I'm sure you are fairly familiar with, you are aware of, but I still will put it before you. And it is here that I would think, irrespective of the government, irrespective of center-state relations, it is just waiting to be tapped. And nothing can hold a state back, especially a state like Kerala, from wanting to do it wrong or right, and keep moving forward. I would think you will still achieve a whole lot of success. Now, this knowledge base that you have has not happened simply. It has happened because, look at the reality. I'm sure the state governments, whichever party they've been in power, will certainly take credit for it, and I have nothing against that. Kerala has one of the highest college densities in India relative to its population size. 50 per lakh eligible population. 50 colleges for every lakh population is what you have. And Kerala is the third highest in India as per All India Survey on Higher Education. 50 colleges for 1 lakh people. Enviable number. Now, therefore, Kerala can take advantage of the inherent latent capability of its people, and it can become a hub to grow its services potential. Why should I shift away from primary, from secondary, manufacturing to services? Today, emerging Bharat, the contribution of services sector to our GDP is over 60% and is growing. Agriculture is still within that range of 9-10% if you're lucky with the monsoon, lucky with whole other things. Manufacturing has not crossed 12. We'd like to have it reach 20 or even more. But services is moving and moving fast, as much in speed as technology itself. And in that, I'll go further to tell you all that Kerala has biggest advantage in EduTech. So I would want to play that point for growing Kerala as one of those very strong, if anything, foothold, which will take you higher. So, in a world which is witnessing the Industrial Revolution 4.0, you're talking of Web3, you're talking of AI, you're talking of big data and its analytics, you will be the world leader because you already have a natural advantage and inclination in this area. And that does not require huge campuses. Every campus that exists today can house an AI research center. As you know, in this budget, I have announced 3 centers of excellence for AI. And I wouldn't put it past Kerala to get one of them. The center-state relationship does not hinge on keeping AI in a place which doesn't have the potential. None of what has happened, and I will say for whatever it is worth, irrespective of the kind of criticism I have to face for it, none of what has happened between 2014 and today has gone on the basis of my favorite place, my town, please get that or get this, when it doesn't have the capability. And if it does have the capability, it goes there. AI, if Kerala requires, I think will be one of those fantastic centers because you have the soft power, you have the manpower which can service it and grow and benefit from it. Other favorable conditions for this knowledge society and also that which is driven by technology is the fact that you have space and space-related institutions in and around Thiruvananthapuram. A little fishing hamlet of Tumba 60 years ago, and since Sashi Tharoor is sitting next to me, I may as well say during the Congress Party's rule, had set up the space program there, and subsequently so many different other institutions came around it. We are actually close to the date. 21st November 1963 is when Tumba started its activities. So you have, and incidentally this morning, you had that Rohini series 2-stage launch also happening. I understand the minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh and Muralidharan were together during this launch. So, one after the other, post-2014, one other thing which happened was to open up the space sector for private sector. That has actually brought in a lot of small private players into the space sector. They are building satellites which can be launched, which are small enough to meet the requirement of many other countries which want to do different things about satellites now. Even within India, for the low orbit satellite, the telecom industry is very keen to have it, so that you don't need to set up pillars and connect them with optical fibers. Directly from the space, communication can happen, telecommunication connection can be built. So you have immense potential for that also, given that the ecosystem has these many institutions here. Space startups. I know the Kerala space startups, 3 years only after we opened up the policy, today private investment is jumping up by about 75% between 2021 and 2022. 75% increase in the investment which has come from private investors. So I've told you about the number of space-related organizations. Similarly, globally, there are global capacity centers which are being set up, which is the newest, labor-intensive, but yet servicing the entire world. I'm still on the Knowledge Society, Kerala. 1,500 of them are in India. And they are specializing in different domains, and all of them require absolutely world-class staff who are trained to run this program. And they don't need, and again, in 2023, shared global services, which are global capability centers. India is the preferred destination. It's not as if the 1,500 have come and that's the end of the story. More are coming in. Cities in Kerala, and this is my strong view on this, cities in Kerala could be the hubs for opening up of GCC. I have myself had people come, met with me to say we want to establish JCC, whereas with their respective specialization, not all of them. Because you can provide high value services, Kerala should aim at getting many of these global capacity or capacity centers. That's a growing area. Next 5-6 years, they will peak up. But before that, if you're able to capture many of them here, you can have some of the tier 2 cities hosting some of the global capacity centers. It was mentioned by what is Kerala Startup Mission, and this has met many of its originally set up goals. But today what you need is to expand on it, and not largest market for e-learning after the US, with a market size of $6 billion, and it is expected to grow within 2 years. We are in 2023. By 2025, we expect that to grow to $10 billion. In the last 3 to 6 years, in fact, last 3 years, 6 edtech startups in India have become unicorn. Kerala, in terms of, I'm not seeking validation because it's going outside, but the fact is, countries which we think are developed, and that's why I've kept on saying emerging Bharat does not just have to be in terms of, is your GDP big enough, is your per capita big enough, is your this big enough? They are important. But look in the meanwhile, what are you achieving? So I would like Kerala to recognize in Malappuram district. It caters to more than 25,000 students across 30 countries already. Okay, so on EdTech you have 200 EdTech startups. You already have the ground for it. Keep moving on it. Now, I move on to the other potential for the growing Kerala bit. Ports and shipping. Amazing potential. You are currently with one government is doing the job and no government in Kerala. Thank goodness. No government in Kerala thought, drive the fellow out. I am not bothered whether it is that fellow or this fellow. Kerala needs to do this for country's sake and for your sake. Virinjam, I'll tell you what it's going to do. And that's why I'm saying, good for Kerala. Virinjam is the best thing happening in terms of something which is not available in this part of the world, although something is getting built in somewhere in Orissa. So if this port gets, which is an axial port, if it gets completed, it's located just 10 nautical miles away from the huge highway. 8 is it? Okay. I stand corrected. 8 nautical miles away from that huge international corridor in the high sea, which is taking all these fantastic large transshipment moving from west to east, east to west, and today east. When I say east, Southeast Asia and also India inclusive, the emerging markets in this part of the world are going to be dealing with over 50% of global trade. You're going to be, now it's somewhere in the range of 40. But the rate at which things are moving from these emerging markets, it's about 50%, and that will pass through Virinjam. Amazing, I would think, Kerala, you're sitting on gold. This is going to help you in growing. And no ideology, no growth model, no nothing is going to stop this from happening. You may have any number of punches on somebody or some state, but you lap this up. I can see that you're already lapping it up. You didn't have the honest strength to say, no, we don't want this person doing it. We'll get somebody else. You couldn't. And it is doing good to you. I'm not defending any one particular person or particular industry. Good for Kerala. And MOS Muralidharan nicely said, for all that I said in the morning, I've been titled as somebody who hates Kerala. Media wants eyeballs. Media wants to have people read the headlines. If only if that media is honest, and that's one of the requirements I would think for emerging Bharat. Robust media. Media which does its own work. Do your little bit of, I serve some cause and therefore I can twist and turn. Do it. Nobody's going to be offended. But mislead doesn't help. Because sooner you will be disproved yourself. But of course, many of us in the media don't want to admit that we've been exposed. India can't afford to have a media which is going to be so selective. Be ruthless about everybody, but about everybody. That's the potential of Virinjam, and we be conscious of it. And I'm sure the administration in Kerala will quickly ramp up its policies to make sure the advantage for the hinterland of that activity which is happening in the port will truly benefit Kerala and truly benefit rest of the country. Is now favouring policies in such a way that such establishment which are both in the east and the west coast will utilize these capacities and not just restrict themselves to government-given project, but also be ready to do many of the private, demands for building vessels. That itself will give great advantage for the Kochi seaport shipyard. The other which I would like to highlight is the potential is global naval vessel MRO industry. Maintenance and repair and overhaul. This is expected to be $60 billion market on the lower side. If it can be only more than 60 billion. And this, I'm not talking about 2050, 2060. By 2028, an international ship repair facility worth 970 crores of rupees is being built in the Kochi shipyard, and it's a big welcome move. You should capitalize on it and make sure the ecosystem in and around that shipyard is built with capable individuals who can benefit from this kind of a major MRO facility that exists. I'll quickly move on to fisheries. You might think, we know it all. But there are aspects which I want to highlight. The Blue Revolution. And I'm certainly going to say what happened after 2014. In 63 years before 2014, our fish production level was 59 lakh tons. I've said this in Parliament also. In 63 years, we reached the level of 59 lakh tons. In just 9 years, that is, after 2014, we've added another 59 lakh tons to the fish production. It was 59 in 63 years. In 9 years, we add another 53 lakh tons. So the potential is just waiting there for us to exploit. I'm sure Kerala can look at it because you have 590 kilometers of coastline. 10% of India's coastline is with you. 2.18 square kilometers is the exclusive economic zone. High value exports are something which can be aimed. You can market it, you can plan for it. And I also think you have traditionally exploited that chakara, is it? The muddy banks which can give you such good quality fish, which is chakara. Chakara, oh, chakara. The spellings are when written in English, chakara. So that if you're able to brand it as a unique product of Kerala, fish coming from there will obtain such price that it is not comparable with what you otherwise would get in the domestic market. So it is in the secret sauce there is to have the right kind of branding for that product, because you would hear in some of the top-notch restaurants that if beef is served, Kobe Japanese beef, am I right? Wagyu. So it is in that region of Kobe. It has 10 times more the price of any sundry meat, any sundry beef. There's nothing much more than specifying the favorable conditions in which this is grown. Your chagara should have a branding of its own. You'll hit the global markets. Similarly, the domestic market is not adequately being serviced by Kerala. I know inland fish from Andhra Pradesh go to Jharkhand, go to Chhattisgarh, go to Assam, go to Bengal, and the demand there is so much that even they are not able to fill it up. I'm not sure if Kerala is utilizing its fullest strength on this. Marine fish production from around 13% currently to 20 to 25% in the coming years is what being speculated, but purely Kerala can achieve it on its own. The Matsya Sampada Yojana, which was launched in 2022, gives a lot of money and assistance for modernizing and upgrading of Kochi fishing harbour, and it will benefit 700 fishing boats, and it will provide direct and indirect livelihoods. The central government is doing it. More will be done if it's possible. So aviation is the last I think I would highlight on, last two. MRO for aviation. I was reading somewhere that Air India, Indigo, and one more airlines company have placed orders for new aircrafts, and somebody in passing mentioned to me that one new aircraft every week is going to come into this country because of the orders placed by these people, and the growth in airlines, passenger traffic is unbelievable. Globally, if it is growing somewhere in the rate of 12 to 14%, India is growing near 20. So there is going to be more new aircrafts, and the old ones are going to have a lot of maintenance and repair. So I would think MRO for airlines is something which Kerala can benefit from, particularly for the Middle East carriers. Yes, exact number that I have, 850 aircrafts are operating in India at the moment. 1,200 more are expected to join the fleet in the next 5 years. So imagine the growth. If for at least those which are coming from the Middle East, an MRO center placed in Kerala can immediately mean jobs, immediately give assurance to many of these international operators that you have a fantastic center here which can in cost-effective ways do the servicing. Normally there's a complaint when finance minister talks, all this is all right, but you're not doing anything about the cutting of interest, tax on these sectors. I'd like to say the MRO services tax was cut from 18% to 5% in March 2022. We've already done it. Take the benefit out of it. I understand the Kochi International Aviation Services Limited, which is wholly owned subsidiary of the Kochi International Airport, is taking steps to provide MRO, which is very good, appreciable. I welcome it. Quickly on the MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibition. Tourism today is not just by families which come to see Kochi, backwaters, the boat race, not just that. Businesses want to move from one location to another to hold their board meetings and have their conferences. You should, Kerala, expect to have like Indonesia was taken up, Bali was being referred to. They have capitalized on the natural beauty that they have without upsetting it, providing MICE centers, the meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibition centers for top-notch businesses to hold their meeting. And even today, I can see many of the big companies like Boeing, FedEx and others who say, we are coming with our entire board to India next winter. And would they choose Kerala? Yes, they may, if you provide these conference facilities. Ministry of Tourism in 2021 highlighted 6 cities, including Thiruvananthapuram, for this MICE development focal points. Both center and state will have to work together. Ministry of Tourism has already highlighted. Shashi Tharoor will be extremely happy. It is his constituency. We should build on it. The last 2 points, health and medical tourism. Approximately 20 lakh patients visit India every year from 78 countries for medical, wellness and IVF treatments, and they generate $6 billion for the Indian healthcare industry. Now it is expected to reach $13 billion, literally doubling, and by when? Not again 2050. By 2026, 2 years only. If all of us are on our toes, you will have majority of them come to Kerala. You already have the facility of people coming for Ayurvedic treatments. If you're able to extend that for other treatments as well. Now again on this, all right, the government has said this, but have you all done your bit? Yes, the Home Ministry has done its bit. Medical visa is being given on the ask. You need medical visa, you get it, no questions asked. So it is just for us to quickly capitalize on it. And the last thing about which global merchandise historically grew is again back on that point for Kerala. High value agricultural products is a great attraction even today. Whether it's your coconut, whether it's pepper, cashew, rubber, coffee, tea, cardamom, you have it all. Entrepreneurs from Kerala can make optimum utilization of e-commerce for us. If government procurements happen, and if they happen through the GEM portal, in that MSMEs have a carve-out for themselves, your products are preferred, so small such agricultural products which are being value-added by people who are in the MSME sectors can benefit in this regard. So Ayurveda is of course a global fad now. It's good fad. It's a good fad and I appreciate it. You have the mastery on it. You should capitalize on it, I would think. So for an emerging India, they want about center-state relation under Prime Minister Modi. I will say this repeatedly. No other ministry other than finance will have this periodic, punching at us saying you're not doing enough for this state or that state. 1 paisa more or 1 paisa less. And who decides the terms for Finance Commission? Irrespective of what is said in the Constitution, that's all that the Finance Commissions do. Even if I want to say, hey, do something less for Kerala, they can't. So you don't trust governments in the southern states speak. Saying for having been efficient in population management, we are getting on your mics, don't close. I'm going to have to answer the allegations which are being put before me. And specifically took nearly 6 items on which we are periodically told, oh, you've not given money on this. No, this money has not come. Only something has been given here. Point on point, I'll tell you. Not 1 rupee is held back by the central government for money which has to go to the state government, provided, of course, you get your AG certificate to me in time. If your AG is delaying it, it's not me, it's you and your AG. Get your certificates through, you get your compensation. You get other things also done by centers not giving